Happy Friday. Today is the 6th day of May. This is the 89th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero Show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reach optimism. I'm your host. I'm Sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of the Hero Ministry Movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire people in general and specifically the unhoused community. All right, I see we got a couple error messages on the screen, so I hope that you can see and hear me clearly. That said, we're going to get right into it. Because this is episode 89, and I've decided that this is the season finale. This is the season finale of season 3. We're going to move into season 4 Monday. We're not going into the 90s on this season. We're going to move right on into season 4. So that said, what's the theme for season 4? The theme is, what are your mental blocks? That's a little wordy, but you get the point. What are your mental blocks? What are the reasons that you have for not investing? In other words, why you guys keep rolling your eyes at me? Huh? What's going on? Because I can tell the chat is getting quiet. I can tell you guys are just sitting there blinking at me. So I want to figure out what that is so we can get past those mental blocks. So, you know what it is? It's going to be myths and blocks. Yeah, money myths. Maybe that's the theme. Money myths. Yeah, money myths is the theme for season 4, which starts on Monday. That said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into some of the other things I want to talk about. It's also Freeflow Friday, so I'm not going to feel obligated to stay on script. So, shout out to New Thought Media Network, though. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for giving me this space and this opportunity to talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. And I hope my stories are helping you on your journey. Okay, so the run streak. Let's talk about the run streak first. Hey, Linda, thanks for checking in from Colorado. Appreciate it. So the run streak, today is day 340. It's a milestone day, 340. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to play the run report from earlier today because I said a lot of things in the run report that I don't need to repeat. And also my energy level was really high, and you'll see why in a second. So let's just play the run report from this morning, and then we'll take it from there. So here we go. Day 340. Day 340. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 340 days in a row. What's up? And I'm at 68% funded of the current GoFundMe for Brown Boys Read. Shout out to Anna Owen. Shout out to Anna Owen for making it happen. She took us from 39% to 68% in less than 24 hours. Amazing. Amazing. And I haven't even checked this morning yet. There might even be more donations. It's been incredible. So shout out to Anna Owen. If you missed it, check out my social media from yesterday. Anna did a shout out to me and the GoFundMe that I'm doing for Brown Boys Read, and donations were coming through left and right. Donation. So we are almost funded. Let's go ahead and close this out. I need 13 people to donate $13, and we can just close this out and give to Brown Boys Read, help these Brown Boys read and run. It's a very exciting program. So check it out. Get into it. That said, once again, this is day 340, and I'm hype because I just added up my miles. I haven't added up my miles in a while. I got a whole Excel spreadsheet situation that adds it up. So I hadn't entered my miles. So I entered my miles, and then I looked at the number, and I was like, what? 990 miles. I have run 990 miles by running at least a mile a day every consecutive day for the past 340 days in a row. That's crazy. That's 10 miles off of 1,000. What? If you had ever told me I was capable of any of this, I'd have been like, nah, son, I don't know who you talking about, but it ain't me. But look, you never know what you're capable of until you try. This is beyond my imagination. Even getting shout outs from other people about my run streak is just beyond anything I could have expected or hoped for.
So once again, shout out to Anna, shout out to Brown Boys Read, shout out to Demetrius Short, who created Brown Boys Read, and just shout out to everyone who's donated thus far. It's amazing what we've accomplished in such a short amount of time. Once again, let's go ahead and close this out. The official deadline is May 19th, but I don't even think we're going to need that long. We're already at basically 70%. We can just close this out. All right. So, run story for today. Taking a breath to settle. Run story for today was just a chip time experiment. Well, not really an experiment. I keep my watch on chip time. What does that mean? For the people that don't run out there, that means that when you run in a race, there's a chip, literally a microchip attached to your bib. And once you cross the start line, it starts counting, starts adding up time. And it doesn't stop until you cross the finish line. That means if you stop to pet a dog, if you stop to look at some flowers, if you stop to get some Gatorade, it's still ticking, right? And so when I trained with Fleet Feet Nashville, I left my watch running all the time. And I actually developed that habit even before Fleet Feet. I leave it running. A lot of people stop for the water breaks. They stop their watch for the water breaks. I do not, because I want to stay on chip time. I want to know how long it'll take me to finish the run, even if I stop to pet a cat or get some water or drink some Gatorade, right? So today was one of those, because I stopped at the porta potty and I stopped to look at this building that was going up, and there's this new house that I was interested in. So I was kind of like sightseeing. So I left my watch running that whole time, and I know that I can complete that particular route with stops at the time that it says on my watch. So I can't figure it out right now. But anyway, so chip time. Is there a life parallel? Yeah, there's a life parallel. Pretty easy one. Like if you keep doing a timeout, then you give yourself a false sense of security. But if you leave everything running, like, well, maybe it's not so easy to make an analogy here, but if you leave your clock running, if you keep thinking about like how much time you've spent on this thing without doing a timeout, without doing a vacation, without taking time away from this thing that you're trying to get to, then you get a better sense of how long it'll take you under other circumstances. Like all things being equal, it's going to take me about so long to do this thing. I didn't like that at all. Just disregard everything I just said. I didn't like it at all. I need to sit with it for a minute. But I tried. Anyway, this is way too long for a run report. I'm already 2 minutes over. So check me out on my show, the Be Your Own Hero Show, Monday through Friday, 8:45 a.m. Central Time on the New Thought Media Network. You can find the link in my bio to watch the previous episodes. Today is the season finale of season 3, and we're about to start season 4. All right, folks. Later.
Okay, I tried to pull it together. It didn't quite work out, but I tried. Anyway, moving on. The big news you already heard. Last I checked, which was last night, we're at 68% funded for the current Hero Charity Run effort, which is raising money for Brown Boys Read. So I'm super excited about that. I'm amazed at what Anna Owen was able to do with just one post. So you never know where the blessing is coming from. You never know how you can influence someone else. So those of you who've already donated, thank you so much. Those of you who've already shared, thank you so much. We're about to close this out very quickly. So don't ease off the gas now. There's the link right there on the web, right there on the screen. HeroCharityRun.com will get you right to the place where you can donate. There's ain't but a few dollars left to close this out. We can close this out and move on to the next thing. Okay. That said, I've been talking about. Oh, right. Oh, let me get into the comments. Yeah, 990 miles. Let me not sidebar. I already said it. 990 miles. That's incredible. Let me move on. I got a lot of ground to cover. All right. Yes. With all the laughs. Okay. Anyway, I've been talking about how and why I run in the rain, because one of the people who I inspired to start a run streak asked me. And so this week I've been running through it. So very quickly, I've talked about how I believe it makes me stronger, how I discovered and used my pain force field. I talked about the biosphere with the trees that kept falling down and how you need wind resistance to create stronger roots. Shout out to Linda. You made a comment that I saw after the show yesterday. You don't know if your roots are strong until there's resistance. And that's part of my point. Yes, you must create your own wind resistance so that you know whether or not you have roots. And if you don't have strong roots, it's fine. You need to build some. But you need wind resistance. You need some friction to discover whether or not you have roots. See, what happens is we don't check, and then something happens in life that's challenging, and then we discover, oh, wow, I've got strong roots, or oh, wow, I don't have strong roots at all. But I'm suggesting that what you can do is create your own wind resistance to make sure that you have roots. And that's what I've been doing with my run streak, by pushing myself to run every day, at least a mile a day, no matter what, I am forcing myself to grow stronger roots and build the tree trunk of my life stronger. Okay, I think that's enough. I'll just say one more thing, that it helps to, I'll use what David Goggins says. When you do something hard every day, you begin to develop a callus on your mind. A callus on your mind, meaning your mind gets used to you doing hard things, and so it's less resistant to you doing hard things ongoing. So that's another reason why I run in the rain. Let's move on. A lot of ground to cover for the season finale. All right, so I got to show you this photo. This is hilarious. I hope you all saw me talk about me running the half marathon recently. And if you did, you saw me talk about the fact that there was a DJ yelling my name at the finish line that I did not realize was the finish line. And I'm over there chilling, posing for the camera, posting up, pointing at the DJ. And then all of a sudden I was being handed a medal. And I was like, oh no, I crossed the finish line. I didn't even get to sprint for the finish line. I told you all. You probably thought I was exaggerating. Look at this photo. Let me find this photo of me cross the finish line. They must have had some photographers there. Look at this foolishness. Look at this. That's the finish line. I'm just loping along, pointing at the DJ, hanging out, chilling, and then they handed me a medal. I told you all. I wasn't exaggerating. I had no idea I was about to cross the finish line. Because if I knew, I would have been sprinting. I'd been running for the finish line. Nope. Just hanging out, just chilling, stay at the beach. What's the point? The point is, you get what you believe you can have. And at the time, I believed that I could complete that run in 2 hours and 15 minutes because that's what I trained for. Even though I wanted 2 hours, I believed that I could have 2 hours and 15 minutes. And the universe conspired to give me exactly what I wanted, right down to me not realizing that I was about to cross the finish line, because if I had, I would have sprinted and I would have gotten at least a 2:14. The universe conspires to give you not only what you, I want to get this right. The universe conspires to give you what you believe you can have. And I want to differentiate that from what you want, because what you want is different from what you believe you can have, right? So prepare and train and ask for what you want, not what you think you can have. Amen on that. Moving on. Lots to talk about. Okay, so dice roll challenge. Let's get into it. I hope you've been rolling your dice. I hope you've been moving your money. If not, today's the day to start. So dice roll challenge for today. One easy day, $1. All you gotta do is move $1 out of circulation. Take it, move it, transfer it from your checking account over to an account earmarked for investing, or take a single dollar bill, put it in your money jar. You got to do this work. If you want your financial life to change, you gotta do some of this work. That's why the next season is going to be, you know what it is? It's myths and challenges, like exploding money myths, and also giving you challenges, like more challenges like the dice roll challenge. I hope everybody's on this dice roll challenge. Anyway, it's $1. let's move on because there's some other things I want to talk about. Morning Zen. Morning Zen. Okay. Oh, shout out to Rev Melissa watching the season finale. Yes, I built a mental equivalent of 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I believed it, and that's what was manifested. Never mind that I actually wanted 2 hours. I didn't believe that. I didn't build that mental equivalent. Okay, don't get me sidebarring, Rev Mel. I got to finish this. I got to get my stuff going. All right, so Morning Zen. A couple things I want to talk about. First of all, you know by now, if you've been watching the show, I program TikTok and other social medias to ambush me with positive thoughts. Here's one from today. Muscle mass is an indicator of longevity. What? Yes, heard that this morning. Muscle mass is an indicator of longevity. Now that sounds crazy until you hear the reason. Why? Because falling down in your latter years is a primary cause of, I don't want to say death because that's not the thing that causes the death. It's like you fall and then something gets hurt and then something else happens. Like it starts a snowball rolling downhill. Muscle mass prevents falls. Basically, if you're stronger, you don't fall as much. Ta-da! Simple. So shout out to my mom. She's been doing her exercises that the physical therapist prescribed even after physical therapy is over. She's doing them every day. She's building her muscle mass. That's great because muscle mass is an indicator of longevity. Okay, moving on. Ooh, there's so many things. All right, so Morning Zen. I did read The Science of Getting Rich today. I thought that would be a great book to close out on for this season because, as you know, I created a whole podcast around the science of getting rich. I will talk about it much more in season 4. And I'm going to bring back the commercial. Did you guys see the commercial that I used to have in like season 1 and season 2? I forgot about that. I'm bringing back the commercial. I'm also changing the order of the show. I see you guys tuning in right now just in time to hear me talk about money. I can see you. There's an indicator right here. Y'all ain't slick trying to miss all the announcements. You're not slick. Anyway, let me read this from the Science of Getting Rich. The desire for riches is simply the capacity for a larger life seeking fulfillment. Every desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility to come into action. That which makes you want more money is the same as that which makes the plant grow. It is life seeking fuller expression. So that's a really nice way to think about the desire for wealth, the desire for abundance, the desire for getting rich. It's just life seeking more expression. So that flies in the face of many of the money myths that we grew up with, like money is the root of all evil. No. So the desire for wealth and abundance is simply life expressing itself. It's the desire for life to expand itself in your life. Yes. Moving on. All right. So that brings us to abundance. Let's do the affirmation one time with feeling so we can move on to some other things. Let's say it together. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. Okay. That's it. Drink it in, take it with you, and know it. Okay. Moving on. Oh, I'm getting shout outs about the muscle mass. Amen. Absolute truth. Lean muscle mass is beneficial for longevity. Okay. So I promised Tim I was going to tell a story. I don't know if Tim's watching, but I promised him I was going to tell a story about the tornado. So let's tell that story. I got 2 stories I want to tell. Really 3. Let's see if we got enough time. Let's go. Okay. So the point of, let me start with the pull quote. Let me start with the conclusion in case I run out of time. Here's the conclusion. The reason why I like the Sam's Club analogy so much is because, yes, there are dangerous things in Sam's, but Sam's is not dangerous. That is the same philosophy you should apply to the stock market. Yes, there are dangerous things in the stock market, but the stock market itself is not dangerous. And you can apply that even further. There are things in life that are dangerous, but the more you know about them, the less dangerous they become. So let's see if I can tell all these stories. Story number one, not mine. This was a golf tournament not too long ago. There was an alligator on the green, right? And the news cameras are focusing on this alligator, like, what's going to happen? Are we going to have to suspend the game? Blah, 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 all the things, right? Meanwhile, there's a golf player moving along the green who can't hear the newscasters, obviously, right? He comes up, reaches down, grabs the alligator by the tail. The alligator jumps into the pool, swims away, right? By the time that golf player gets to the 18th hole, which is the final hole in golf, there's a whole scrum of media waiting for him, wanting to talk to him about the alligator. And he was nonplussed. He was like, what are you talking about? And they reminded him of the alligator incident. And he was like, oh, well, I grew up around alligators. If you touch them on the tail, they run away. Who knew, right? So are alligators dangerous? Yes. But because of his body of knowledge about alligators, he was able to interact with the alligator in a way that was not dangerous. You feel me? So the more you know about something dangerous, the less dangerous it becomes, like the stock market, like tornadoes. So here's my tornado story. I was on a test drive in Salt Lake City, Utah. If you've never been to the Salt Flats in Salt Lake City, Utah, you must go. It's like, imagine white sand, like ivory white sand for as far as the eye can see, with veins. The veins are created by the wind blowing along this sandy area. And there's nothing that you can see other than that, and mountains in the distance. All right, so let me not spend too much time setting the scene, but it's an incredible experience. Anyway, we're driving in the Salt Flats, and I saw what's called a dust devil. A dust devil is basically a baby tornado. So you can see it, like it's visible. You can see like the sticks and bramble and rocks swirling around in a circle. It's a visible thing. And I'm test driving this car, and I guess I thought I'm just going to drive through the dust devil because it was tiny. It was like, maybe like this. It was like huggable. It was a huggable tornado. I was like, I'm just going to drive through it. That was my thought, I guess. Anyway, so I'm driving, and I had an impact with this dust devil. This dust devil hit the car like a rhino, like two rhinos. It was like an impact, like boom. And it almost knocked me into the ditch. And then it kept on going. Now, what's the point? First of all, it's a crazy story, right? It's a crazy story. To be hit by a tornado on any level is a crazy story. Second of all, I learned something. I learned that tornadoes have very focused energy. When I was yards away from it, I couldn't feel anything. I could see it, but I couldn't feel anything. So tornadoes have very focused energy. This is important to know for someone like me that runs every day, no matter what's going on out there in the world. I know that you can be near a tornado and not be impacted by it. Now, I'm not crazy. I'm not going out there chasing tornadoes. I'm just saying that because I know a little bit more about tornadoes than most people, then I can be a little safer, just like the guy with the alligator on the golf course. All right? So that story done. Moving on. There's another story I want to tell. Quick one. I don't like needles. I know, it's surprising. I'm a tall guy. I work out a lot, but I don't like needles. At least I used to not like needles. So when I would go to the doctor's office, I would have this whole thing out, this whole pantomime. I would get ready in the waiting room, and when they would come out with a needle, I would do this. Right? That's my move. The lean back with the big eyes. Well, that's my alarm telling me to wrap it up. Right? So when I would do that, they would say, "What's wrong?" And I would say, "I don't know what you're about to do with that needle that's the size of a small vehicle, of a small automobile, but I think we need to figure out something else." And this would invariably prompt them to prick me on the finger instead of hitting me with the big needle, right? So I've been doing this for many years. And I remember there was a Caribbean woman who tried to make me feel bad about it. She was like, "Oh, you're going to get the little pin prick like a little baby?" I was like, "Yup, go ahead and prick that finger. Go ahead and prick that finger." So the reason I'm telling you this is because I mentioned that when you have a pain force field active, which means if you're in any kind of pain, physical, mental, spiritual, when you're in pain, your pain force field is automatically active. You don't have to think about it. It just happens, right? So when I ended up in the emergency room at the beginning of the pandemic, they were sticking me with these like needles that were the size of turkey drumsticks, like massive needles. And I didn't like it, but I was unbothered by it because my pain force field was so big. If you heard the story, you know that I just undergone a tooth extraction that didn't go well. So I was in a lot of pain. Therefore, the sight of these long needles and the pain of them sticking me with the needles didn't affect me at all. And I just wanted to give you that visual to help you understand like that needles is not a thing that I'm indifferent to. I am typically very aware of needles, but because my pain force field was so strong, it didn't matter to me. And since then, I've been unbothered by needles at all. So what's the point? Point is, at some point in the future, or maybe even now, you're going to experience pain because life is tricky like that. It's going to be physical pain or emotional pain or distress of some kind, right? And what you can do is know that when you experience that pain, your pain force field is now active and you can use it. Like if you think about it in advance, then you can use it. You can decide, okay, because I'm in pain about this thing, I'm going to go apply myself to this other thing that would usually bother me, but I know it's not going to bother me right now because I'm in pain about this other thing. It works really well. So, for example, if you have, let's say, a fear of public speaking, if you have some greater pain, like if something in your life has happened that's big, and so you've got your pain force field active, your fear of public speaking will likely not even register on your personal Richter scale at that moment because you're in pain about this other thing. So you can go use that opportunity to get a couple speaking engagements in without even feeling fear. I've done this myself. It works. So that's a tip for you. Use your pain force field as you move forward. Be aware of it and utilize it. Now, all right, we only got a couple minutes left, and I wanted to circle back to this AT&T thing. So I'm excited that we fell into this conversation about AT&T. Thanks, Linda. Shout out to you. So I hope, Linda, that this has helped you feel better about the stock market because you're so far ahead. You inherited this stock, was AT&T, and it pays well. And just for a reminder for those just watching, so AT&T pays 27 cents per share per quarter. That adds up to a little over $1 per share per year, right? So I've got 10 shares now. I got in there with you, Linda. I don't know how many shares you have, but I got a few shares. So I've got 10 shares now. So that's a guaranteed $10 per year. And I have drip on. So that $10 per year will automatically reinvest itself. Check this out, though. That's $10, $1 per share. But how much is a share of AT&T? $20, right? So my new goal is to buy 21 shares, which means I need to buy another 11 shares. Why? Because if I own 21 shares, if you own 21 shares, Linda or whoever else is watching, if you own 21 shares, every year the stock is going to generate $21. Why is that significant? Because a new share of AT&T stock is only $20. So if your dividends produce $21, it's going to automatically buy you another share of the stock. What? Yeah, it's on autopilot. It's on autopilot. So I just want to, we're over time, but I just want to finish this point because I think it's important. When you go and spend money at Sam's, Target, Walmart, whatever store, whatever is your favorite consumer store, you are guaranteed to lose money. Guaranteed. Not only are you spending money, you're spending watered down dollars. Let me do it a different way. Is inflation real? Yes or no? We all know it's real. It's not a make-believe thing. It's not something that Sekou just made up. Inflation is real. What does inflation do? It pushes the cost of goods up. It pushes the value of the dollar down at the same time. cost of goods up, dollar down at the same time. You know that a year from now, a roll of toilet paper is going to cost you more a year from now than it will today. You also know that your dollar being watered down between now and next year is part of why it's going to cost you more. You're going to have to spend more watered down dollars to buy that same roll of toilet paper a year from now. This is fact. This is inflation. This is just the way it is, right? Now, in the stock market, money value goes up and down. It goes both ways, up and down. So you buy a roll of toilet paper a year from now, or you go into any consumer goods store and buy something, this is the point. You are guaranteed to lose money. Like it is certain that you are going to spend watered down dollars for goods that are rising in price that are going to depreciate as soon as you buy them. This is guaranteed because that's the definition of inflation, right? But if you put your money in the stock market, the value of your money will go down sometimes, but it also goes up, right? So you've got more of a chance to make money in the stock market than you do doing what you consider safe, which is buying stuff in your favorite consumer store. Right? Everybody with me? Okay, that's just one way to make money in the stock market. What we've been talking about the past couple of weeks is AT&T, which is a stock that stays pretty static. It stays at $20 per share, but it pays a dividend religiously. You can make money off the dividend. Like you don't have to just buy low and sell high. You don't have to just buy a stock and wait for it to rise in value. You can buy a stock that has a good dividend and make your money off the dividend. So the way you can play the AT&T game is say, hey, I want to make $100,000 a year. You buy 100,000 shares of AT&T, it will pay you $100,000 per year, and your capital stays fixed. You're living off the interest, i.e. the dividends. All right, I'm way over time. Sorry, prayer time, folks, but I hope you guys are with me, that there are multiple ways to play in the stock market. Only one of which is buy low, sell high. That's only one way. Another way is to use the dividends as income, or use the dividends to stack your chips and then use it as income. So, all right, I'm not even gonna look at the comments because I know I got to close out. But the idea that you can buy 21 shares of AT&T and then have it buy more shares for you, you put it on autopilot, that means that you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to do anything else. You can just let it be a snowball rolling downhill from now until forever. Right? It's going to buy another share and another share and another share and another share. And then it's going to pay you dividends based on 21 shares, 22 shares, 23 shares. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. It's on autopilot. All right. I'm way over time. I'm going to stop talking about it. But Monday, season 4, we're going to talk more about these practical things, these practical ideas to make money, to generate income for artists and retirees. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for Sit with Rev Melissa. It's almost time for Sit with Rev Melissa now. Stay tuned for Sit with Rev Melissa. I'm going to be producing that show, and maybe I'll pop in and say a few words. So keep doing. Be a hero. And by that, I mean be your own financial hero. And remember that now is better than perfect in terms of investing. Go invest. Go get you some AT&T stock. See what happens. All right. I'll see you Monday for season 4. Later.